Okay, let's talk about fractions, everyone's favorite thing to talk about. Um, so when we talk about fractions, we're basically talking about the operations that we can perform with fractions, and we can add fractions, we can subtract fractions, we can multiply fractions, and we can divide fractions. Let's talk about how to do all four of these operations when we have fractions. So, earlier I'd said, or like in my previous video, I had said when you have 2 plus 3, you can just add it and it would be 5, right? And then 2 minus 3, you can just subtract it and it would be negative 1. We can also multiply it and it would be 6. And then we can divide it and it would be 2/3. Okay, but all these numbers are whole numbers. What if we made them fractions? Let's make it 5, right? How would we solve it when it's fractions? What changes essentially? So let's talk about it. Let's start first with multiplying fractions. So if you have 4 over 3 and you want to multiply that by 1 over 3, the way we multiply fractions is we multiply it across. What do I mean by that? You take your numerators and you multiply them, and you take your denominators and you multiply them, and then your product becomes the final answer. So what's 4 times 1? 4. And what's 3 times 3? 9. So this would be the final answer. Let's do a different one. 3 over 5, let's multiply that by 1 over 9. Again, we multiply it across. We take the numerators and we multiply them, and we take the denominators and we multiply them. So what's 3 times 1? 3. And what's 5 times 9? 45. And so this would be the multiplication. Let's do one more. Let's say 2 over, I don't know, whatever your favorite number is, 7, and then let's multiply it by 4 over, I don't know, let's say 9. And again, the way we multiply fractions is straight across. Numerators multiply numerators and denominators multiply denominators. So what's 2 times 4? 8. And what's 7 times 9? 63. So this would be the final answer. So that's that for multiplying fractions. What about if we needed to divide fractions now? Now we have 4 over 3 divided by 2 over 7. Now the way we divide fractions is using KCF, which you've probably heard of. So it's K, C, and then F. K means keep, C means change, and F means flip. And you literally do it in that order. The first thing, you do K for it. The second, which is the division, you do change for it. And then the last fraction, you do flip for it. Okay, so keep literally means keep. So we're just going to do it as 4 over 3. Division, we do C for it, which is change. So we do the change of division to multiplication. And then 2 over 7, we flip it. And so you think of what is the opposite or the inverse of 2 over 7. Or when we say flip, you basically just flip it. So 7 goes to the top and 2 comes to the bottom. So it becomes 7 over 2. Now notice that we essentially changed the division to a multiplication. And we remember how to multiply fractions. We just multiply it straight across. Numerators multiply numerators and denominators multiply denominators. So 4 times 7 is 28 and 3 times 2 is 6. Let's do another problem with division. Let's say we have 2 over 5 divided by 1 over 7. Again, it's keep for the first fraction, change for the division, and flip for the second fraction. So we keep it as 2 over 5. We change it to multiplication and we flip it. 7 goes on the top, 1 comes on the bottom. And now we know how to multiply fractions. Numerators multiply numerators and denominators multiply denominators. 2 times 7 is 14 and 5 times 1 is 5. This is our final answer. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say we have 3 over 5 divided by 4 over 5. Again, keep, change, flip. We keep it so it stays the same. We change it to multiplication and we flip it so 5 goes on the top and 4 comes on the bottom, and then we just multiply numerators, so it's 3 times 5, which is 15, and 5 times 4, which is 20. Now let's talk about multiplication and subtraction. Addition and subtraction. So addition and subtraction are essentially the same. The only thing is you just add or you subtract, depending on what the question asks you to do. So if I have 1 over 4 and I want to add it to 2 over 3, we can also do the opposite, 1 over 4, and I want to subtract it to 2 over 3. The thing that you have to have is, I can't just add this and say 1 plus 2 and then 4 plus 3 and then make it 3 over 7. That would be incorrect. I could do that for multiplication, but I can't do that for addition and subtraction because the denominators are not the same. So in order to be able to add and subtract, I must have same denominator or common denominator. So my denominators must be the same. My denominator here is 4, my denominator here is 3, and last time I checked, 4 and 3 are not the same. So I want to get it to be the same. The easiest way to get it to be the same is to just take the opposite denominator and multiply it. So basically you multiply them by each other. Okay, and then whatever you do to the top, you are the bottom, you have to do to the top. So I have to multiply this by 3 as well. So what's 3 times 1? 3. And what's 3 times 4? 12. Same thing here, 2 times 3, 5, 3 times 4, 12. Now do I have the denominators being the same? Yes. And since the denominators are the same, I can just add the numerators, and adding the numerator is 8, and then I keep the denominator the same. Same thing here. I can't just subtract the top and subtract the bottom. I could do that if it was multiplication, but if it's addition and subtraction, what I need to have is common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this one by 3 and this one by 4. Do the same thing to the top, and then I have 3 over 12 and 5 over 12. But now we're subtracting, so we're going to take the top and subtract it. So it's negative 2 over 12. We keep the denominator the same. Okay, so I made a mistake here, so let's fix that. This should be multiplied by 4, not 3. And 2 times 4 is 8. And then 3 plus 8 is 11. So it should be 11 over 12. Okay, and then the same thing. Let me make sure this one is right. 2 times 4 is 8. And then 3 minus 8 is negative 5 over 12. So this should be 11 over 12, and this should be negative 5 over 12. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the butterfly method. So the butterfly method is, say we have multiplying or adding, 1 over 4 plus 2 over 3. We just make a butterfly. Okay, so we call it a butterfly method because it essentially looks like a butterfly. So it's going to be 1 times 3, which is 3, and 4 times 2, which is 8. And then when we add it, it's 11. So that's what's going to be on the numerator. And then for the denominator, we just multiply the denominators, which is 12. And so that would be 11 over 12. So let's do another examples. If we have 2 over 5 minus 1 over 7, let's do the common denominator method and the butterfly method. So since this is a common denominator, we want to make the denominators the same. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply this by the second one, which is 7. And I'm going to multiply this one by 5. So this has to be multiplied by 7. And this has to be multiplied by 5. 7 times 2 is 14. And 7 times 5 is 35. 1 times 5 is 5. And 7 times 5 is 35. And then 14 minus 35, I put 75. 14 minus 5 is 9 over 35. Now let's try doing the butterfly method here. Same problem, and we're going to do the butterfly method. So it's going to be this times this and this times this. 2 times 7 is 14, and 5 times 1 is 5. So that's what's going to be in my numerator. And then to figure out what's going to be my denominator, I just take the denominators and multiply it. 5 times 7 is 35, so my answer is 9 over 35. So either you can do the common denominator or the butterfly method, whichever one is easier for you whenever you're doing addition and subtraction. Let's do one more. So we have 9 over 6, and let's add it to 4 over 5. Let's do the common denominator method first. I'm going to multiply this by 5 and also this by 5. I'm going to multiply this by 6 and also this by 6. 9 times 5 is 45 over 30, and 4 times 6 is 24 over 30. And then we go ahead and add the numerators, which is 69 over 30. We can also do the butterfly method, which is 9 over 6 plus 4 over 5. We're going to multiply this and multiply this. 9 times 5 is 45, and 6 times 4 is 24. And then and that's gonna be my numerator. And then for my denominator, it's just 6 times 5, which is 30. So it's gonna be 45 plus 24, which is 5 plus 4 is 9, and 4 plus 2 is 6. So it's 69 over 30. That would be my final answer. This should say 30, by the way. I have 39. That should be 30. Okay, that's it.